Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to another episode of Who Am I? Who am I? It's just a little forum I've invented myself, asking the questions that I find pertinent. And I'm going to spend the next hour and a half talking about my favorite subject in the whole world, which is everything. We're going to talk about existence itself, reality itself. How does reality come into being? How am I designed? Where did I come from? Where am I going? How does my equipment work? As human beings here on planet Earth, we can understand a whole lot more than we have been allowing ourselves to for the last number of centuries, and we are poised in a moment in time that is special. And I want to help us make the most of it. Now, the way I describe my show is as follows. Let's see, let me pull that up for myself so that I can read it. The way I actually describe my show. Let's see. Hold on a second. Oh, wow. Wow, wait a second. What is going on in my studio? Here we go. All right. Is there anybody listening? That's a good question. Do I have anybody in the room with me? I do not have anybody in the room right now, so I guess I don't have to, and I'm paused. Error, please use a key. You know what? I still need to ask Alexis what this means and how it is affecting my stream. Okay. I might have already taken a picture of that. Anyway. All right, let's go back to the studio because we are making a recording. So, who am I? That's such a good question, you know? I have all kinds of different reasons for coming to this show. And when I think about this question and what I'm going to talk about on any given day, so many things come up within me. I try to focus on what I want the show to be about is who am I in reference to source energy? Who am I in reference to all of us together? Who am I in reference to the collective project we've got going on planet Earth? The collective understandings, the collective suffering, the collective misunderstandings, all of that sort of thing. I dedicate this show and my understandings to helping us understand all of that. That sounds very grand, but I'm just a human being, and I think quite a bit of human beings. I think human beings are amazing, and our potential is fabulous, and what's standing in our way is our misunderstanding of our own nature, causing us to chase outwardly things that we perceive as negative, to try to wrestle them to the ground and kill them, to try to resist them so that they'll go away, to focus on our problems until we figure out how to, whatever. That is a misunderstanding of our equipment. And to the idea that I have some understanding of this, and all of us can and could and do, and I just want to shed some light on some of this for us. Truly shed some light on who we really, really are, so that we'll quit pushing against each other. It's like we are a single organism, a superorganism on the planet, who, if we understood that to be true, we would be operating so differently with one another. The philosophy that imagines that the object of the exercise is competition in order to keep everybody strong, and so you have to look at it in terms, philosophically, you look at it in terms of competition. That's living as like your kidneys being, like it would be right if your kidneys were in competition with your liver. It wouldn't work out very well. I bet I still don't have any listeners. I would like Indigo to come back and listen to me. Whoops, I did the wrong thing here. Oh, I have one viewer. Oh, welcome. Welcome. You give me life. You give my consciousness wings here. We're going to get into this now that I know I got somebody listening. I am making a video of this too. You can catch me over on my YouTube channel, where I have over 200 videos already posted of the show that I have been doing for almost a year now and posting since January. Welcome to Who Am I? A discussion of the nature of consciousness itself, and who am I in reference to source energy, and what it means to be a human being alive on the planet today. And what are we going to do about all of our problems? And what are our problems in a nutshell? In a nutshell, all of our collective problems could be summed up on both hands, for sure, but I don't need my toes, I don't think. Sixth mass extinction, incessant wars, authoritarian psychosis, desertification, growing deserts. The sixth mass extinction one is enough right there. How about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch? I used to call it Garbage Island, but I guess it's not quite solid. Those are our problems. Now, what do I think is going to fix our problems? Understanding who we are, understanding how these energies work, understanding how we are energy, frequency, and vibration. And we are all in this together. We're going to talk about the design of the human being, and where did this design come from? I think we had a little assist to our design some perhaps 200,000 years ago for this one, for where our neocortex got a little bit of a plumping, if you will, through chromosome number 2, human chromosome number 2. It's interesting. I find this all very interesting because it goes to the fact that, okay, if somebody genetically modified us 200,000 years ago, then we've had extraterrestrial connections for forever, right? It means that the general story that we have been told as to who we are and where we came from and what it all means is not where we came from and what it all means. Go to any natural history museum. Do you see them talk about our genetic modification and possible extraterrestrial ancestry? Do you ever see that? I don't ever see that. Maybe they've updated the Natural History Museum since the last time I was down there, but I don't think they've changed that, and I don't think they've changed the textbooks either. Anyway, why does it even matter? Because it goes to our design. Our negative self has a particular meaning. And it doesn't mean that from that position you should go out and try to fix the condition you're fixed on that's causing you to feel negative. Your negative emotion is so... There's so many parts of that. Actually, my thesis statement is, I believe that all the woes of all humanity can be fixed through an understanding of who we are and how the matrix works, what 0 point energy is, how the whole thing is spinning, the black hole structure all the way up and down, the holographic nature of the whole thing, the fullness of space, the fact that there is almost unlimited energy in every point in space and time. And so we could use that energy, we could plug into it, and that could be what fuels our society. And that would be way more energy than we've got right now, and every human being everywhere would have it, even if they didn't have the infrastructure of the energy systems that the first world has going on right now. But because the first world energy comes through the infrastructure that certain human beings control, well, I'm not going to push back against anything. That's one of the rules of my show. We're coming from a non-resistant, unconditional perspective, in a way. And we're talking about philosophy, and we're talking about spirituality and all that stuff, but we really are, in the biggest possible frame, trying to talk about reality itself and how a better understanding of reality will bring us to the holy grail of peace on earth, goodwill towards men. But more than that, we've got so much more in our collective creative vortex that I would like to live to see an inkling of it coming into being. Now, I see an inkling of it now. All the structures that we have going on, the structures as in systems, I'm talking about systems structures that we have in place on the planet right now, are embryonic versions of what things could really be like if we would understand who we are and connect fully to one another in the highest way that we... And so what am I even talking about? If we all had a better general understanding of who we are and how it works, we would be less resistant to being organized by the great organizing force that is spinning all around us. It is spinning us into an expansion, and we can flow with it and rejoice with it and reap the bounty with it. Or we can completely misunderstand it, swim upstream, fight each other, blame each other, point outwards, imagining that that's the problem, that's to blame, you're to blame, you're to blame, you're to blame, when the whole time you are in possession of a vortex of attraction so powerful you can hardly imagine it. Now, the vortex of attraction that's going on around us is this huge spinning everything that is well-being, that is connection, that is knowing, that is understanding, that is looking forward, that is seeing possibility, that is the wholeness of who we all are. The wholeness of who we all are includes all of us. The wholeness of who I am includes the field that spins around me. Now, if you understand how the energies flow, you start to understand that, oh, the object of the exercise is kind of to let go of the oars first, have faith that I am in a stream of well-being, and then from this position start thinking about the possibilities, imagining the possibilities, getting excited about the possibilities. And then from that excitement of the possibilities, and you have to build a momentum there. If you don't build a momentum intentionally, you might fall into this trap, which so many of us in Western materialist culture find ourselves in, where we're trying to be good, we're trying to see reality as it really is. And so we look at things we like, and then we look at things we don't like, and then we look at things we like, and then we look at things we don't like, and then we think about this, and it makes us feel good, and then we think about this other thing, and it makes us feel bad. And the whole time we don't understand the mechanics of this light mechanism that you are driving, that your consciousness, the consciousness that is riding on the brain of your physical self, that is connected to your whole self, that is connected to your spirit, that is all of that. The consciousness itself that you are is like this light stream that you are driving through the frame of the cosmos. I liken it unto a really super duper complex version of those old novels that they were called something, and I never really read them, but I understood them in concept. I was older when they came out. The ones that you pick your path, you get to a fork in the road, and then if you take the right fork, then you jump to this page, and if you take the left fork, then you got to jump to that page. But it's all there for you already. And the universe is like that. It's all there, and you are navigating your ship of light through the landscape you want to experience. And I have decided that I want to experience the version of Earth where we make it to this blessed realization of our vortex of creation without the detour into the darkness first. I don't think I need to, and possibly part of that is because as a youngster, I was a student of the darkness we went through last century. Now, I think that the potential darkness, perhaps, is darker than that in our future, if you wanted to go there and play that out. If you wanted to bang the drum of despair and continue to point the finger of blame at others and intentionally misunderstand the meaning of what we are experiencing, you could experience that dark earth. Perhaps. I mean, that is if you buy into the notion of all versions of everything exist. Everything that could happen, did happen, is happening, will happen, because it's all now. There's no any other time other than now, and it all exists now, and you're just tuning into different frequencies to experience what you want to experience, to realize who you are and what you are made of. That's who you are. See why I named the show Who Am I? It's really cool. Now, I believe personally, from my human heart, that our collective better understanding of how these energies work will bring us all to a better place in our life, where our systems are less disjointed, disconnected. I have spent most of my life on the sidelines, watching, observing, and I see that some things I'm starting to say things that are going to belie what I just said about every version is possible. And what I have decided that I want to choose is the version of life where we clean it up, where we get clean, free energy for all of us, where we understand our true nature and live out of the abundance that we really are. I want to solve all those problems that I just said. Oh, I forgot climate change, global warming, whatever you want to call that. That is actually a combination of things. That it's a cyclical warming event, planetary warming event that we didn't have anything to do with and we have no control over. The problem is the environmental degradation and the disconnect between all of us that is causing us to not be able to fluidly respond to climatary changes that might have been natural to begin with, but we're exacerbating it. We're exacerbating it, and then we're also frozen in our inflexible modes of behavior because we're stuck in certain philosophies that are incorrect or will not bring us to the result that we would like. This modality of competition, eternal competition, in order to, decide who's the fittest and who is the fittest and deserves to survive and all that. That whole bit doesn't take you to where I want to get us to, this paradigm of mutual co-creativity and cooperation and synchronicity and joyful sustainability and loving, understanding, collective identity, who we are. So this actually does harken back to our identity. Who do you identify as? And what do you identify as? And what are you? And who are you? And how are you seeing it inside of your own mind? What philosophy are you buying into? Because what this all refers to has to do with the operating system of your own consciousness, how you have set it up, how you've lined it up. Are you in alignment with what your inner being believes about the reality of what's going on around you? Or are you cattywampus and at cross purposes with what your inner being knows to be true about the whole field? I'll tell you what your inner being knows to be true about the whole field, which, by the way, you are. You are a part of, and you are the whole thing, because there's no way to separate any of it. It is one thing. And so you're in there, so that's the one thing that you are. And what it actually is a Planck field. A field of Plancks that can form into anything that the formless desires. And that's why it is your desire that is the wings of what's morphing this cool anyway. So I don't want to get too, because I can dance into the way out into the outer spaces, outer reaches of whatever. And I can also get quite down to earth. So there has been a breakthrough in physics that conventional commercial physics, I think commercial physics is probably a better word to use even now than conventional physics, but commercial physics has not necessarily fully embraced, or is not banging the drum of or saying, hey, we're on board with this. But I can see what Nassim is talking about. I can see what he's saying about the shape of the universe, and I think he's right. It is spinning. Space spinning is what is causing gravity. It's what's causing the curvature of space-time, which is causing the attraction of items one to another, like the spin of a drain will suck in from around it in the water into the maelstrom. A vortex is a vortex of attraction. It sucks things in it as it gains momentum. to understand this principle is to understand the very universe itself, which is esoteric and interesting, but the whole idea is to understand what that means to you as a human being. Fossil fuels has sort of been an artificially sustained paradigm for what some people would say is 100 years. Now, I think it's not probably that long, because it really would have been a problem to have unleashed free, clean energy in a usable way before Hitler was defeated, because his mindset was never going to give up on what he believed was true about the nature of the universe until he was completely squashed. And it was bad enough when it happened last century. It would be utterly catastrophic to us now, because most of us have let go of so many of those individual skills that we all needed. You know, if we don't have factory farming, I don't know how we live right now until we start gently, and we are doing it. We are moving back to the family farm, but what's really going to energize that one is when the family farm no longer has to earn a profit enough to pay for their fuel use. When they can plug directly into source energy and then go out and just raise their goats for goat cheese, and their apple trees for apples, and their berries for jam, and their, and they have enough to live through the winter if they had to. They aren't going to go bankrupt because of all this mortgage to the hilt in order to be chained into this bigger system that causes us all to sell our souls for the energy that we use. That will change as soon as we are able to plug directly into source energy. Now, we need to be in control of our we need to understand what our freaking dark self is, because our dark self is very, very dark. And on the other hand, at the core, at the center of our dark, dark self, is not darkness. Nobody is bad, not even the worst player out there. What is happening is we don't understand who we are, and we don't understand how the energies work, and we don't understand our negative shadow self, and we don't understand any of this. And so to that end, to that higher consciousness, that's what I dedicate my show to. Who am I? We're going to talk about who we are. You are a binary being, and your binary self is composed of a physical, conventional aspect of yourself that you are aware of. This is your body self, your brain, mind, all of that. It was born at a particular time, and it will die at a particular time, and this self is you. But it's not the only thing that's you, and it's not even the biggest thing that's you. But it is the unique thing that's you, and it is the expirational aspect of you. So make the best of who you are now, because it really does matter. You are eternally you, but you are only the you that you find yourself in this moment for this period of time. And when she is gone, her exact self is unique, like a snowflake, unique. I say that to myself because sometimes I have been a little light on that aspect. I have been, for the last year, I've been focusing on how important it is that the main part of yourself is this eternal aspect of yourself, the part that never, that when this expirational self goes, you have an aspect of yourself that is with you here right now, that you can hold on to, because it will always be. And it is inside of you. Find it and identify with it. And it will help you feel safe. Safe in this world, in this physical world, where I promise you, you aren't really ever going to be safe. You never were going to be safe, and you don't even care about that. You don't even want to be safe here. You want to understand the difference between this temporal world and your eternal self. It's part of the project, the Who Am I project that you are. And as you walk through your physical life, the whole idea is not to see, in a way, I'm looking at the whole thing in whole cloth, but you don't want to look at the physical world in whole cloth necessarily. You want to look at that in aspects. And the aspects that you're looking to focus on and amplify are the aspects out there who you are saying, this is who I really am. So the ones you want to focus on are the beauty, the freedom, the love, the organization, the power, the hope, the optimism, the kindness, the connection, the connectivity. So anytime you notice it, anywhere out there outside of you, you focus on it, because cardinal rule of the currency of the universe, whatever you are focusing on, you are making it bigger, whatever it is. So get out your book of positive aspects and walk through the world, and every time you notice someone being kind, notice it, write it down in your book, or mental book. It doesn't have to be physical, but you're noting, you're taking note. That sweet furry creature, that beautiful, because it's all one soul trying to find itself, trying to strengthen itself, trying to recognize itself, trying to be itself, trying to play with itself. That one didn't sound so good, but no, that's who we really are. And so I'm going to start changing up these slides here. I've been talking for 30 minutes, and I'm going to be going at least an hour and a half if I feel really motivated to do so. Now, I have only had this one slide. This one is called Quasar. I have another one. I could have just changed it to this one for a minute, but that's just to kind of give us an expansive idea of ourselves. But you are both selves. You are this expansive whole universe aspect of yourself. Loving, connected, liquid love, connected to all things. You are that. But then you also are this very specific conventional aspect of yourself that is sort of reporting up to the wholeness that you are, and the wholeness is reporting back down to you, guiding you, and you know, it is all the noble spirits. It is. But we've learned to sort of kind of look down on them as though that's goody two-shoes neighbor, you know. If you really want to be a real person, you can't, you know, just focus on that stuff. Well, you can. Anyway, who am I? I am a binary system, and I am holographic in nature. My consciousness is comprised of the whole Planck field, which is exchanging its allness of information up and down scales. If you would understand that about yourself and get yourself into alignment with who you really, really are, the wisdom of you, and by osmosis, humanity, would advance exponentially. Our problem is that we keep crossing our own energy stream, we're in conflict with ourselves in a way that is not really necessary. And the only reason it's happening is because we don't know who we are. And that's why I do my show, who am I? And we're going to talk about it. We've been talking about it. We're going to continue to talk about it. Pardon me for just one moment. I'm going to pause my recording, and I'm going to go over and look at the chat. I'm going to go see whether there's anybody listening. It might throw me off. I can't see whether there's anybody listening right at the moment. So it looks like I have one view. For 9 seconds. 9 seconds. Somebody found me for 9 seconds. That is so sad. Well, I don't know what's going on with my show. I have an error message. I've been live streaming for 35 minutes, and I've actually done a very good job. But I had one viewer listen for 9 seconds. I have no idea what he heard. It can't have been very much. All right. Well, that's disturbing. I was hoping to pick up somebody in Europe. It means that... Okay. What this means is that I have to work harder at getting views up front. Okay. So I'm past 30 minutes in. I know what I'll do now. Okay. All right. So I've been waxing poetic about a bunch of stuff. Realized that there's nobody in the chat room right now. There's nobody watching. So I decided to change gears because we're going to start moving the pictures to see whether we can get somebody else watching. And besides that, I have a whole presentation starting with, let's see, The Origin of Mass and Nature of Gravity paper that Nassim Haramein and his, you know what? I probably don't want to do that exactly like that. Hold on. The whole thing is paused. All right. All right. We are not to get discouraged because I know that one of the reasons that the numbers are the way they are is because I pay more attention to content than I pay attention to what it looks like from the outside or how to find visibility, to get people to listen to me. I'm not actually trying to get people to listen to me beyond the reaches of how clear is my message. I want us to grow together. I want my message to get clearer, and then I start getting the impulses to increase the viewership, and I want it to work together. I don't want to all of a sudden get 1 million viewers when I am, raw and rough, and then people go, I've heard of her, and she's not really there. I don't want to be like that. I want it to all grow together. So who am I, and where are we going, and what do I think is the answer to our problems? Understanding the nature of the universe that we live in. And so I have this I'm going to try this for the last half of the show. I'm going to start with the top of my presentation that has slide changes with it. We're going to see whether we pick up any viewers because of what I'm about to do next. I'm going to go through slide by slide by slide everything in my OBS studio that relates to this presentation that I have of who am I. This idea that we don't understand our own equipment and we don't understand the nature of the whole situation we find ourselves in, our own biotechnological equipment as human beings, what the field, the biofield, the morphogenetic field of all the informational data streams, what it all means, all of that. If we understood it all better, we could flow with it better, and then we could all be joyful, happy, synchronous, everybody doing what they want, us all supporting one another in this creation of mutual abundance amongst each other, right? Doesn't that sound like pie in the sky? It does. But you know, an understanding of who we really are would get us there. Now, if you say, oh, who we really are is monsters, then that's not going to get us there. But honestly, that's not who we really are. We really are not monsters. Down at the core of who we are all the same being. And the fact that we are at war with each other and mutually resistant with one another and creating lack where we should be, churning out unlimited abundance in this unlimited abundance creating machine that we find ourselves in. You have to imagine that there's something off with us. There's something we don't understand. And so to that end, I dedicate my work. I'm going to get better. I'm going to have a beautiful presentation at some point, and I'm going to be slick and really able to deliver it. Right now, I'm just practicing on perhaps empty air or you, if there's somebody out there in the field. I'm going to start changing slides. And then actually, I need to sit in here someday and just work on my presentation. Exactly what do I want to say? But such as it is, this is what we've got. This is a paper, The Origin of Mass and Nature of Gravity, that Nassim Haramein and his team published about a year ago. And it has all the math. It's the roadmap that would free us from gravity and understand how to plug into source energy if we would but point our collective physicists in this direction, our commercial physicists, our collective physicists, if they were pointed in this direction, they would be able to follow this roadmap. But it's rather revolutionary in a way, involving our whole view of who we are. So here's the full abstract of it. Now I have cut all of these slides from, there's a 37-minute YouTube video out there. Look it up. Go to YouTube and put in Origin of Mass and Nature of Gravity video. And it should be 37 minutes long, and it will mathematically explain that whole paper. And so I have cut, I screenshot all of these examples of the kind of mathematical description, and they talk about well, just go watch it. The math has been done, and every proton, by the way, did you know that every proton is actually a black hole? It's a singularity is what it is. It's a black hole, and within its Planck field is represented all of the protons and all the rest of the universe. Now, that's not what this slide is showing Hawking radiation, because every black hole spits off a certain amount of, it spits off radiation and reduces its own energy level. And it looks like, actually, where's the slide that shows that? There's a slide that shows that it's 10 to the 35 billion years. No, hold on. Here's the space-time pixelization. And it is either organized or it is roiling, but either way, the Plancks are dense like that. Here's the quantum structure of space-time. This actually all echoes back to sacred geometry and the tree of life and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of things from ancient civilizations and ancient wisdoms. You start seeing, shining through this new understanding, architecture and design from thousands of years ago. You start seeing this technology shining through, and you start seeing the possibilities for humanity now. And why is this being kept from us? Why are they pretending like, oh, nothing to see here, no aliens ever been on this planet, no higher civilization, nope, we were cavemen 10,000 years ago, period, full stop. All the rest of the Bible stories about the civilizations and the flood and this and that and the other thing, that's all just superstitious spirit talk about, supernatural beings and crap that, and you know what? That's not what it is. We do not, we need to rewrite our human story. We need to add in a bunch of stuff that we have not added in. And one of the reasons I believe that we have not so far is that to acknowledge extraterrestrials is to acknowledge technologies that part of us is pretending are not real and we don't understand. I'm going to go through the rest of these slides. These are just, like I said, I just screenshot them from the video, the 37-minute video. And then I get into a place where I screenshot some from the paper, not from the video, but from the paper that the video is about. These are all still from the video. This is from the paper. I think this might have been screenshot from a speech that I saw Nassim do because I thought it was good. This one, this is from the paper, The Origin of Mass and Nature of Gravity, and the reason that I include this one is because it illustrates how as matter is coming across the event horizon of the zero-point energy field from nothingness into somethingness, from being a quantum oscillator into being a virtual particle, as it crosses that event horizon, it's spinning. Spin is baked into the cake. It's either roiling or it's spinning. And then the whole thing is spinning. So interesting. It's a completely different understanding of reality. And that's background spin. That's the dark energy. That's the dark mass. The dark matter and the dark energy is coming from that collective spin in the background. And that's the you, that's the foundational you inside the binary self that you are, by the way. That's your source self, the spinning source self that is collecting all cooperative components to its collective desires, its win-win position desires. So line yourself up with your win-win-win-win self. Make your calculations. Include others as winning too. Don't play the paradigm as a win-lose. When you play the paradigm as win-lose, you just create a whole lot of losers out there. And we want to create a whole field of winners because it doesn't have to be win-lose. Our world of imagined duality is what's making us imagine that it has to be that way. Oh, in order to have winners, in order to recognize that we're winning, we got to have losers, or just like if there's no darkness, then you don't understand the light. If there's no losers, then you don't understand winning. But that's not really the way the the potential of the quantum field is designed. It's designed as a win-win. And the reason it is because my inner being is your inner being. Except for mine has my interests at the center, and yours has your interests at the center, but the collective spin that we're all spinning with, that we're all flowing with, that is collective. That we share. And so the ultimate win position for me is a win-win-win-win for all of us, where we are all dancing in abundance and freedom and all of that. I know it sounds ridiculous, and it sounds like I'm not in touch with reality, but believe me, I am. I know that the darkness is very, our potential darkness is very dark, which makes it really important that we get a grip on this. Did you know that we are holographic? And this is my little illustration of, now I have no idea whether me changing any of those slides just got anybody else into the studio. We're going to see. No, it did not. So nobody has listened. That's very sad. But I am not going to be sad because I am still recording. And these are still going to go up on my YouTube channel. I'm going to sit there with this. I need to zazz my slides up. I should put I can take that slide and I can put the making of a conventional hologram or something on that. All right. Well, you know what? It's a learning experience. I'm hoping to get more people in the room. It's so sad. All right. I'm going to pause this for a second. Oh, I am paused. Yes. I am paused. Full disclosure, I just went and peeked over at the chat room, at the viewership, and there's nobody there. And so I'm going to allow myself to get a little bit discouraged because I know that I'm going to hate that feeling. And I also know that that feeling isn't really me. The me that I am is bigger than that. And I'm going to be able to transmute it into something better, into action that will make my show more visible, will bring people in, because I do want people to be in the chat room, or even just viewing. They don't have to comment. I just want eyes or ears on the show. And so far, this isn't doing it. So I'm going to have to work on it. I may have to sit down slide by slide and work with all of these backgrounds until they are better. I think that's a good idea. Well, I'm 53 minutes in, and I'm not going to stop the show. I'm not going to stop the recording until I'm at least an hour in, because all my recordings are at least an hour long. That's a dumb reason to do it, I know. So who am I? Who am I? And I would sort of like to be the life coach for humanity in general, in an abstract way, help understand the energies so that we can depersonalize the problems that we see in front of us. And we can start seeing the ornery ones amongst us, the antisocial and the the ones who are chaotic and incoherent, the ones who are causing problems and acting up, the ones who can't get off their damn negative self, you know, those people in the world. I can't remember how I started that. Because I started thinking about something, and then I started thinking about these danged. Oh yeah, those people. We need to start seeing them as being hurt or sick. They are out of alignment. Out of alignment should be what we collectively understand to be the problem, period, full stop. That's what the problem is. It's not bad players. It's not that somebody who came into this world was a Damien, you know, the Omen or whatever, Rosemary's Baby, a demon child to begin with. That's not the way it works. But there is a thing that happens that almost might as well be that if we don't understand it. If we don't understand this phenomenon, then now I don't know. It's possible that one of the problems I'm having with the show is audio, because I think it's my speakers. I can't hear my show very well. It might be that you can't hear my show very well, and that person who tagged in for 9 seconds went, "Oh, this audio is crap. I am not staying here." That is very possible. And if that's what I've done my whole show with, then I'm not going to get many viewers, because nobody's going to like what my audio sounds like. I will double check on that. And I think I do need to start sharpening the presentation if I'm going to go live every day and expect to hold the attention of live human beings in the moment. Now, I do want to make friends around the world, but I think I have to go farther than that. I think I have to do better than that. So look forward to things in the future where this show just gets better and better. As I get clearer and clearer. So we are this binary self. We really, really, really are this binary self, and we should know this. We should help each other. You know, when one of us starts acting up, you know, it's instead of like punishing them into better behavior, you know, a quick, you know, snap out of it, you know, might be in order. But none of this, you're a bad person. You need to be punished for the rest of your life because this thing that you did is so bad, 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 bad. And you know what? I don't care how bad it was. I don't care if it was murder. Because like Abraham says, and I do believe her, on the one hand, it is not true. There is very serious things going on, and I absolutely see that. And on the other hand, there is absolutely nothing serious going on here, and I absolutely see that too. And those two things seem to be paradoxical to one another. They seem to be diametrically opposed, but they really aren't, because there is a spot right in the middle where you can see that one and you go, "Oh, I see you." And you can see the other one and you go, "Oh, I see you." And they're both true at the same time. The center of paradox, when you find the center of paradox, that's when you are at the center of your own self. It's a kind of a neutral place, this place, but now from this place you can understand the energy and start intentionally building a positive momentum. Don't anymore do that vacillating, objective dance that Western humans do when we, I like this, don't like that, like this, don't like that, like this, don't like that. Instead, you start focusing on and noticing all of the things that you like, all of the things that resonate with your leaping, loving heart. There is a core inside of you that is like a magnet. It's like a detector of some sort, and it's a light detector because it is light and it is detecting what resonates with what it is. And if you lived your life like that, if you lived your life recognizing that that's who you were and that's what your operating system was actually doing, you'd quit worrying about, you'd quit looking at yourself from the outside, making sure that you looked proper and good from the outside. That's where the goody two-shoes crap comes from, is from making yourself follow that path from what it looks like on the outside, as opposed to truly following it from what it feels like on the inside. Because following it from what it feels like on the inside, you recognize yourself as a sinner along with everybody else, and you really aren't judging everybody else, and you are seeing, the ones who are misbehaving as an expression of being out of alignment, as opposed to, they aren't bad. We are all good. It's a philosophy that you have to adopt if you really want to ever operate on this planet as a whole being, as whole humanity, dancing and you know what? We are a superorganism, and I don't know many people who could do it all by themselves anymore. None of us, do it all. Like raise the creatures that produce the material that we spin into wool, that we then weave into textiles, that we then make into clothing, first of all. So that's a whole branch of humanity involved with the clothes that we're wearing. Nobody does that themselves anymore. And then food supply. I don't know many people who provide all of their food supply. And if they do, and there are some people who could do that, people on ranches and stuff who have fruits and veg, but they don't produce all of their technology, their farm equipment. They didn't build their own farm equipment. We are a superorganism, and we're only ever going to solve our problems when we can act both individually, highly individually, and self-motivated on the one hand, and completely cognizant, not just cognizant and aware, but our calculations working everybody else in, cognizant of our position as a cell in a greater body, that itself needs to function, needs to be whole, needs to be able to produce food, needs to be able to recycle our waste, needs to be able to supply us with energy, needs to be able to transport us from here to there, and all of the things that we need as human beings, all of the systems that we need to survive as human beings, water systems and air systems and elimination systems, and both individually as individual cells and as a collective being. And that is exactly analogous to the way our bodies operate and the autonomous cells within our bodies. And so we've got to come to that level of understanding. It's not whose religion is the right one and all the rest of them are wrong. It's not like that. It's what whole greater truth, what greater loving, connected, organized, powerful, almighty truth is all of our religions collectively pointing to? What elephant are we all trying to describe, each one of us at a different point in the elephant? Now it's like a tree trunk. Now it's like a rope. Now it's like a snake. You know the story. Who am I? And so with that, I'm going to leave you. Maybe I'm going to go back and look one more time. Is there anybody in the studio? Did anybody ever pick me up? Probably not. Nope. Wow, that's weird. And the 9 seconds went down to 8. That is very interesting. Oh well, that's all right. I did an okay show. Now, if I was into editing my own videos, I could tighten that up so that this show, when I put it out on my videos and my podcast, is a little tighter. And I'm sorry, but that's not where I'm focused. I want to focus forward, not backwards. So stay tuned for maybe better slides, maybe a tighter presentation in the future, and I'll just start doing my thing. I do want to get us to a better understanding of who we are and where we're going and why we are here. And to that end, I consecrate and dedicate my show. And I think I'll leave it there for now, since it was a bit of a disjointed, mixed bag of this and that. I'm not going to judge myself too harshly or look back too long, but I can do better. And so until tomorrow, when I vow that I will do better, I bid you good day, and may the source be with you.